But I want you to remove the burden. Don't give a pile of stuff. And some might say it's not stuff, it's something else that starts with an S. But don't give that pile of stuff that's on your plate the power of being a burden in your life. Because it's only a burden because you allow it to weigh you down.
What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go.
What's going on, fellas? This is Coach Mike D, your favorite personal development coach, with another episode of Black Fathers Now. Now, dig this, man. I hope y'all are making it happen. I hope you're doing what you're supposed to do, but I'm also hoping that you are obedient to what you are called to do in this specific moment. I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to unlocking in life, a lot of us are burdened by long-term plans. We're burdened by schedules, by looking at our agendas. We're burdened by all kinds of things that continuously jump on our plate, right? We're burdened when we walk in the house and it's like 30 things that need to be fixed. We're burdened when we go out into the yard and it's rained 2 or 3 days in a row and the grass is now up to your knees. And then we're burdened by all of a sudden one of the kids, their bike tires is flat and some toy is not working. And then the something under the bed needs to be fixed. And we're burdened by all of these things, right? We're burdened by all of these things. And that burden gets heavier and heavier as we pile more and more on. But we've all, or most of us at least, have heard the phrase, how do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. So I'm going to challenge you all. I'm going to encourage you all. I'm going to empower you to look at everything that's there in your life, everything that's on your plate, everything that's in front of you. And I want you to look at it, and I want you to not give it the power of being a burden in your life. I want you to now look at this as an opportunity for you to make progress one step at a time. To not get overwhelmed when something else jumps on the plate, because guess what? That something else is going to have to wait. Unless it's an urgent issue, that something else that's jumped on your plate is going to have to wait. Okay? I'm going to empower and encourage you to focus on the task at hand. Be obedient to what needs to get done right now. And if we can literally quiet the noise that's circulating around us all day, every day, and we can be focused on what it is we're supposed to do in this specific moment, you're going to blink and some of those things on your plate are no longer going to be there because those are tasks that you've completed. But I want you to remove the burden. Don't give a pile of stuff. And some might say it's not stuff, it's something else that starts with an S. But don't give that pile of stuff that's on your plate the power of being a burden in your life. Because it's only a burden because you allow it to weigh you down. Sometimes we're holding things that we need to set down. Sometimes we're carrying things that we need to put to the side. But you have to prioritize those things in your life because look, we're fathers, we're husbands, we're men, we're leaders, we're business owners, we're, within organizations, we have roles and jobs and we have all of these things going on, right? And if we're not careful, we'll lump all of those things onto the same plate. But the reality is this: when you think about food, And you think, let's take it to like Thanksgiving. Like that always triggers, good food memories for me, right? Thanksgiving. Now, granted, you do have some people who are a little different who pile everything all together. But typically, you have a plate in which if you're getting salads and all of that stuff, you're doing your salad on one plate. When it's time to get down with the food, your dressing and your turkey. Yeah, I said dressing because that's us. We don't do stuffing, we do dressing. But when you think about the dressing and the turkey and the ham and the greens and the black eyed peas, and when you think about all of the fixings associated with the meal, that's on another plate. And then when it's time to go back and get dessert, usually there's another plate involved. Rarely do you see somebody put the salad, their food, their sweet potato pie, and their red velvet cake and all of that all on the same plate at the same time. But the reality is in life, that's what we have the tendency of doing. Because I'll be honest with you, like if my wife was making me a plate and she brought me one plate and that plate had a salad, and then on top of the salad, she put all the turkey and dressing and ham and collard greens and all of that. Then on top of that, she dropped a couple of pieces of sweet potato pie and red velvet cake, all my favorites, on the plate, the same plate. I might look at it and say, what is this mess? I can't eat that. All of this stuff jumbled together. But the reality is in life, we tend to do that. We tend to do that with all of our tasks, with all of our responsibilities. We ladle it on top of each other, and then it mixes all up. And then, just like that plate of food, where you got the salads and the meal and the desserts and all of that stuff, it's all mixed all up. Now it's overwhelming. And it's really unappetizing. And that's what happens with our day-to-day lives if we allow ourselves to pile things on. So fellas, I'm going to encourage you to stop piling it on. Stop piling it on. Stop piling it on. Give yourself the grace and space to say no. Give yourself the grace and space to say pause on certain things, right? I heard someone earlier, I think it was Van Lathan was doing an interview, and one of the things that he mentioned what was a breakthrough for him was the mute button. Sometimes he has to push mute on certain things in his life. And I get that. Because if we don't do that, we pile it on. We put all this stuff on a plate that doesn't belong together. It gets overwhelming. Then it becomes a burden. And then we just get so frustrated that we just don't accomplish anything. So give yourself the grace and space to separate some of this stuff out. Prioritize what's important. Start tackling that, but be obedient to the moment. Because if you're obedient to right now, you will get all the insight needed and or necessary to direct you on the steps that you need to take. But you have to trust it. Take those steps. And like, I mention this book all the time, but like the Alchemist mentions, or the book, the theme of the Alchemist, as you start pursuing your personal legend, the universe conspires to help you along on your journey. The same thing in your life. As you start pursuing these things that you're supposed to pursue in the moment, you can't explain it, but for some reason, things start to open up. And I'm going to encourage you to follow that. For me, it's the Holy Spirit, right? When I get those little nudges to do something, to speak to someone, to accomplish this versus that, even though it doesn't quite make sense, it opens up something else, and that's what I needed to be doing anyway. So fellas, give yourself the grace and space to not allow tasks and things that potentially were overwhelming to have the burden of being overwhelming in your life right now. Don't give it the power. Start thinking about what you need to do in the moment. Prioritize, take action, and I want you to also have some fun in the process. You have the power to make something enjoyable and or fun. You also have the power to make it suck. Now, full transparency, I would rather spend more time with enjoyable things than things that suck any day of the week. All right. Well, hey, I hope this one really helped y'all, because I have this feeling that somebody needed to hear this right now. And I pray that you take action on it. If you're that brother that needed to hear this right now, I pray you take action on this message. And I hope you give yourself the grace and space to go and be great, because the world needs you. Your families need you. But more importantly, that person that you see in the mirror needs the full manifestation of what you're capable of right now. All right. Well, hey, as always, make sure to follow blackfathersnow.com or visit blackfathersnow.com. Follow Black Fathers Now everywhere. Subscribe to this if you don't already subscribe. Please share this episode out. And until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.
Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always visit blackfathersnow.com, as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.